A short while ago, many people experienced a job change. Maybe they got laid off, maybe they got fired, maybe things just changed, all due to a thing called COVID. That means that for all those people that changed jobs, lost jobs, or got laid off, it opened up an awesome opportunity. You literally just got green lit to self-direct those old accounts. In other words, now you can be in control of your retirement accounts. My name's Chris Naugle, and I'm here to teach you how to become your own bank. So what should you do with those old 401ks, those old 403bs, those old qualified retirement plans that you had at that old job? Well, it's time to take back control of that money. And in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. I'm going to show you how to be in control of your qualified retirement plan. Something that very few of you have ever had because you gave up control. You gave up control the second you started putting money into that old 401k. And this moment right now is when you change that. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you leave your job. I don't care why you're leaving, but when you leave, it's always the same. You go into your office or your cubicle. You pack everything up. Usually it's a little brown box. You throw all your belongings in, the paper, the pens. You don't leave anything, do you? Because them sons of pups just let you go. You're not going to leave anything. You take your red swing line stapler and you put that thing right in the box. Pictures of your family go in the box and out the door you go. But wait, you forgot something. A lot of people pack all those useless things, not saying the pictures of your family are useless, but come on, a swing line stapler, pretty worthless. Pack all those up and you march yourself out like you're proving something, but you leave your money behind? Folks, that's backwards. The first thing you should have done when you knew you were leaving your job is got your money out of that old employer. But too few people do this, which is why, if you look statistically, there is billions of unmarked dollars that are left at old employers in the form of 401ks that people didn't move. And a lot of times when people don't move that money, it's because either it's a small account, maybe they forgot about it, maybe they didn't put any money into it. It was all employer funded. But it doesn't matter. It's all your money. And you gave up control of it. So let's change that. So here's the way to do it. The second and most important part is it's time to take back control of those funds. And how you do that is you move it into a custodian that allows you to self-direct that money. Up to this point, you've only been able to invest in a small basket of usually mutual funds. Maybe you got lucky and you had a couple of those ETFs in there. But very rarely does anyone have anything other than pre-selected mutual funds. And a lot of times those mutual funds are high fee. So now when you move that money, you roll that money out of the old 401k into your self-directed IRA, individual retirement account, it puts you in full control because you have the ability to invest in anything.
A great investment opportunity.
Imagine that. Imagine if you had the ability to take your retirement dollars and invest it anywhere you want. You could invest the money in things that you know, like, and understand instead of those funds that you had nothing to do with and you had no knowledge of. So you're like, I don't know which one to go in. What do you think? Is that really the way we treat our money these days? Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, it is. And that's sad. So what is a self-directed IRA? Well, it's no different than a regular IRA. There's different kinds of IRAs. There's Roth IRAs, there's traditional IRAs, there's simple IRAs, there's SEP IRAs, but let's just focus on what an IRA is. It's an individual retirement account. Your 401k is an employer-sponsored account where it's offered through your employer, where an IRA is an individual retirement account. So when we add self-directed in front of that, what does it mean? Well, it means nothing. It just simply means that we're moving the money to a custodian, and a custodian is just somebody that holds your money. A custodian that allows you to participate and self-direct that money in anything you want. But the fourth thing is, I want to talk about the problems. I want to throw a word of caution out there. If I say the word self-dealing, what does that mean to you? Well, for most of you, it doesn't mean anything. You've never even heard that. I don't know, Chris, what does it mean? Self-dealing would be you take your money from your old 401k, you roll it over into a self-directed IRA. And in doing that, that qualified rollover, there are no taxes or penalties at all. It just moves from your left hand to your right hand. Left hand, your old 401k or retirement plan, to your right hand, the new self-directed IRA that you are in full control of. But because you're in full control, that means you can pretty much do anything. But you got to be careful because the IRS doesn't deem the word anything as the right word. See, if you take the money from your self-directed IRA and you buy a house that you're going to live in, that's self-dealing. And in self-dealing means you used your qualified retirement plans for something that you're going to benefit from. And you can use the money to benefit you in terms of growth for the future, but you can't buy a house that you're going to live in. You can't buy an investment property and then go live in that investment property. And if you do buy an investment property with the money in your self-directed IRA, which you could, you have to use the self-directed IRA to fund everything at that house. All renovations, all bills have to be paid from the self-directed IRA. And all rent is derived from that property needs to go back to the self-directed IRA. Do you see what I'm saying? The self-directed IRA becomes the owner of the property. You no longer are the owner because you can't self-deal. The other thing you can't do is take money from your self-directed IRA and use it to start your own company. Self-dealing. So what do you do with a self-directed IRA? Well, everything else. You can lend that money. So if one of you watching this right now needed money for your real estate deal, I could go to my self-directed IRA. I could then lend money from my IRA to you, and you could then pay me 12% interest on that money, and I take the interest and I put it right back to the self-directed IRA. What else could I do? Well, I could invest in stocks or options within my self-directed IRA, just like I did my old IRA or 401k. I could buy actual gold. I could go buy physical gold bars or silver or any one of those. That's right. My self-directed IRA actually allows me to buy precious metals. What else? Crypto? That's right. I can buy crypto with my self-directed IRA. And I could keep going on and on. Hell, I could even go out and buy a dairy cow, bring the dairy cow home, put it in my garage, milk it every morning, fill a bucket up, take that bucket out front of my house, sell that milk. It is illegal to do that, but I could sell that, take the money I just made from selling my cow's milk and send it back to my IRA. That would be an allowable transaction. But I mean, who's got time to go milk cows right now? But I'm just trying to give you an idea of the things you can do with your self-directed IRA. But just don't use it for self-dealing. And the fifth and final thing, protect your wealth. Invest in things that you know, like, and understand. Now, I know for a fact there's somebody that watches this YouTube video that's like,
well, Chris, I know cows. I might just go out and buy myself a cow.
Well, then go buy a cow if that's what you know, like, and understand. Just remember, from what I know, and maybe you know better, if you sell that milk out front, that is illegal. I guess they don't allow that. I have no idea why. But if that's your thing, man, go for it. But for the rest of you, invest in something that you really understand. Because now you have the ability to invest in anything. So the excuse that you had before with your 401k of, oh, I can only invest in these ones that they allow, is out the window. So use this to your advantage. Take this as a big opportunity. The fact that you left your job, the fact that you lost your job, that you got laid off, or however this event happened, it's a blessing. That door closed so that another door can open, and that door that opened is you having the ability to be in control of your money. So let me give you an example of a real client. It's actually a husband and wife, Mary and Charles. So we call it the Bank of C&M Jones. These were just average people who didn't have a whole lot of money in their retirement. They had about $350,000 saved up, and they were 10 years from retirement. They were maxing out their old 401ks, but they both left their jobs. One lost their job, the other left their job. So they now had this money and they needed something to do. Well, they watched us explain what a self-directed IRA was and how they could become their own bank, and they took advantage of it. They rolled those IRA accounts into a self-directed IRA account. They continued to make the maximum contributions that they could, and over the next 10 years, their money grew from $350,000 to over $1 million. How did they do that? Well, they didn't invest in something that they didn't know, like, and understand. What they did is they became the bank. They started lending that money out on real estate because they both understood real estate. They had a house and they'd bought investment properties. So they understood this, but now they didn't have to own the property. They just lent on the property, and they lent it out at 9%. So how did they go from $350,000 to about $1,086,000? That's it. They became the bank. But that's not the best part about it. You see, just because they had over $1 million, That didn't solve their problem. When they retired, what they did is they continued to lend that money out at 9%. So that meant that they made an income of $96,000 a year. That's $7,600 every single month, give or take a few dollars. $7,600 every month, over $96,000 a year. And the one thing that they did not do is touch their principal. Never once did that $1 million, that over $1 million, get drawn down. All they did is made that money work for them. So all that Charles and Mary did different than you is they changed where their money went. They didn't put their money in some account that they weren't in control of like most people do. They changed that money and put it into a self-directed IRA that they were in full control. And then they started to do something that they know, liked, and understood, which was lending that money out on real estate. You can do the same thing. Maybe it's not real estate. Maybe it's crypto for you. Maybe it's not crypto. Maybe it's stocks. Doesn't matter. You can invest that money in anything. So folks, if you liked this video, make sure you check this one out because it's along the same lines. It's how do I start infinite banking? That is right. How do I become the bank? My name's Chris Naugle and I'm here to teach you how to become your own bank.